Here's a tiny video about technological advances that are coming into even cheaper cars these days. Used to have to wait a few years for them to make their way down, a bit like high fashion really, from the catwalks down to the supermarket clothing section. But now even small cheap cars have electronic aids in them that sort of make the car semi-automatic. It's not autonomous driving like Google cars and the like, but things that take over some of the control of the car for you. Some of the features in this car involve the speed of the vehicle. So let me see if I can take us onto a section of road where I can illustrate something called speed limiter and cruise control. I won't talk about electronic stability program in this particular video, but I will talk about a little stubby control that's just due south of below the let's turn the car around because we've got a bit of a roadworky issue going on. The road ahead blocking the traffic. Just below the left hand stalk is a little stubby control, which some people, especially in the early days, being in a car that you're not familiar with, you might get confused with the direction indicator. And it operates two different facilities in the car, both to do with speed. It consists of three different types of control on that stubby stalk. Let's see if I can carry on talking about this while I turn the car around. Doing a turn in the road, an extremely narrow road. Not using the handbrake because I've not got a camber on the road, a slope across the road, and I'm not actually stopping for more than half a second. Checking all around each time though. It's going to be a 5-point turn. Still managing to get off some of the steering before I do the subsequent going forwards phase. I'll thank the guy in the Vauxhall behind for waiting for me. Okay, so you've got a thumb wheel on that control which selects either a neutral position, which means you don't have anything displayed above the digital speed readout in terms of the electronic aid, neither cruise control active or paused or speed limiter active or paused, and you've got the ability to move that thumb wheel upwards to select speed limiter or downwards to select cruise control, and you get a confirmatory message in the screen in front, which disappears after a couple of seconds. And if you select speed limiter, you can then dial up with your forefinger or index finger a button that's behind that little stubby stalk, and it will display on screen what speed you wish the car not to go beyond, no matter what you do with the accelerator pedal, unless if you push the pedal firmly to the floor, in which case you'll get a click from the pedal and the car will then be able to accelerate out of trouble. But until that point, when you get up to the speed that you have defined using those the forefinger, the button on the end of that control will then switch on the facility to limit the speed. It won't prevent the car from picking up speed if you go downhill. Gravity is going to win. It's a fundamental law of physics, really. Gravity will always win. And but it will prevent you from accelerating on a flat road or going uphill beyond the speed that you have defined. If you hold with your forefinger one of those buttons on the rear of that stalk in, either up or down, the set point that you're defining will go up in 5, so it's quite quick to be able to go right up to a 60 mile an hour or 70 mile an hour set point. Pressing the end will activate or deactivate. It's a toggle switch like lots of controls in cars are these days. The speed limiter, and the thumb wheel will then just get you into cruise control mode, where you can activate or deactivate and set a speed at which the car will maintain a certain speed, whether it's going uphill or on the flat. Again, gravity will win if you're going downhill, and you'll see the cruise set point speed that you've defined, or in the case of the speed limiter set point that you've defined, starting to flash if it goes beyond the limit of its ability to control. Cruise control quite simply means that you can rest your right foot away from the gas pedal and the car will add sufficient fuel to maintain the speed that you've defined. So that's a couple of the technological features coming into even cheap cars like this Peugeot 208.